Why am I so awkward? Okay, seriously, this is a question I actually ask myself, like, many a sleepless night as I'm laying there, can't figure out why I'm so embarrassed 3 years after the event, and what did I do wrong, and how can I fix it, because this is not a good feeling. I've kind of narrowed it down to two things. The first one is really important and kind of a catch-all. Mostly, the whole reason I am so awkward is I don't know how to act at all. So like, for example, there's this one time and I saw one of my like favorite old elementary school teachers in my high school, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love that person, I'm gonna go say hi. So I went up and I like shook his hand and said, hi, how are you doing? He said, good. And then instead of walking away like a normal person would do, I stood around and listened to his conversations with like 4 other adults for like 2 minutes, just standing there listening to a conversation that didn't pertain to me. And I just, with people not my age, and I just stood there and I was like, do I need to leave? Should I leave? When should I leave? Finally, I kind of just came to the conclusion that the conversation between me and this teacher wasn't gonna continue, so I just kind of, backed away slowly and hoped that no one had noticed that I was there for a couple minutes. It was really awful. Another thing is small talk. I'm really bad at small talk. I see people that I'm like acquaintances with all the time who you kind of feel obligated to be like, hey, how's it going? And so I do that. I'm like, hey, how's it going? They're like, good, how are you? And I'm like, good. And then I don't know what to say. Like, what do I ask them? Like, and where do I go from here? What am I supposed to tell you? What are the words supposed to say? I don't know. And then I have small talk, and then I answer like with 1-word questions because I don't really know how to answer beyond that, and then the conversation dies really fast and we just kind of both stand there and like, and then you feel like you need like a good excuse to leave, like, okay, so well, I'm gonna go do this now and don't have anything better to do. I actually have that all the time though, because like I'll be with people I know pretty well, and like they're not like my best friends, but they're like really good friends, and I'm like making excuses to leave them because like the conversation has died and we could just stand here talking about nothing. But I'm like, okay, well, I better go eat, so see you later. Slow fade out. Number 3, I don't really know how to respond to people like that I just met. So I'm like, oh, hey, we just met 10 minutes ago. You're now my best friend. I'm gonna make all of the obscure jokes and inside thoughts I have right here where you won't actually get it, but I'm gonna say them anyway because you're now my best friend and you should totally understand my sense of humor because we just met 2 minutes ago. And then they're like, and then I'm like, why aren't they laughing? Why? And actually, that kind of leads me into kind of the second reason, which I think is another really big reason why things are always awkward. Number 2, I don't really have, like, when I'm in the moment, a realization of what's appropriate to share with someone and what's not appropriate. Like, not anything gross, but like, if I just met you, like, say you're a cashier at a store and I'm buying a coat, and they're like, ha ha ha, gonna need this for the winter. I'm like, ha ha ha, actually, yeah. And then I give them like literally my whole life story, which is supposed to lead up to a joke somehow, but most of the time it's way too long to even make sense of the punchline, and they're just kind of standing there like, I don't even know this girl. Why is she telling me so much? What the heck is going on? And I'm there just like rattling on and I can't stop, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is getting really awkward. They're looking at me really strangely. I need to stop. But no, I keep continuing with the story, and then suddenly they know like literally everything about me, and I'm like, ha ha ha, want to also hear my social security number? Now the other issue is I don't realize when it's like a good time to share this like personal stuff, like my whole life story or what I like to do or my stories, just because I don't know, I guess I think, let's say I'm at my church group and I'm with people who are going to be my friends and who are already my friends, but instead of like sharing things like that, I just kind of sit there in an awkward silence because I don't know if I feel like if I say something weird, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, she's weird, we don't ever want to hang out with her again. So I just end up not saying anything or what. But I just sit there in an awkward silence where I just told this Mr. Cashier man literally everything about me. He knows my mom's name, he knows her backstory, he knows how many siblings I have, and why I'm buying a coat when I could have just gone home and to get one. But I don't say anything with people who are like, could actually be my friends. So that's a little awkward. So in the end, it ends to like a lot of aimless prattling or a lot of awkward silence, which is really, really strange both ways, and I usually come out of it like. So when you end up putting that combination of not knowing what to do, what to say, how to act, and completely misjudging situations of what to do, what to say, and how to act, mostly what to say, you end up getting these really, really awful, awkward situations that I walk away from with like super weird butterflies in my stomach, and then I end up lying awake at night years later going, why did I do that? That's so dumb. But it's okay, because that's just who I am, and it's something I have to deal with and work with, and it actually has made me stronger and a better, I think eventually, because I have to work so hard at like knowing what the right thing to say is, I end up being better at it when I get good at it. So I'm a better friend who knows funny stories and stories at work whenever I actually realize that I should probably open up to these people because they're my friends. And I sort of am slowly beginning to understand what social norms are okay and when you really should just fade out. Basically what I'm saying is all of these scenarios where I get super awkward and like in my head and totally freak out are really actually very, very helpful because I can look at them later and be like, okay, that happened, it was awkward, you were embarrassed, fine, whatever. What can we learn from that and how can we do better? And that's really just all we need ever, is to know what we can do better next time. Awesome. Okay, so to finish it up, today's quote is one I kind of stole off the internet, so it doesn't really have like a specific author, but anyway, I think it's super inspiring and wonderful, and it's, I hope you know that you are capable and beautiful and brave even when you think you're not. And I stole it from Project Inspired on Facebook, who are really cool and they've got great stuff. This is super important to remember, and even in those super awkward and awful moments when you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot function normally in society, still know that you are capable, you are beautiful, and you are brave. Alright, thank you. See you next week. It's gonna be a great one. Visit all my things, and bye.